Man, I don't know about the Trump tweet about Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner did have his hand in actually propagating the American people with the help of the head of the. He pushed this narrative, basically saying that Trump was involved with the collusion. Look,
either person can sit at either place. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. And the thing that to me is so frustrating is that this cataclysmic thing happened to our country, and people don't seem to understand it, understand the gravity of it.
I mean, that professionally done video was full propaganda, okay? You could totally say that. You could rightfully say that that was treasonous behavior and actually attempting to subvert the will of the American people. Wholeheartedly, you could say that, and you'd be accurate. So there's a little reason that the American people should also be like, yeah, Rob Reiner was a menace to our society. But at the same time,
is that when something horrific happens, we come together. We don't delineate because somebody didn't like it. That's not what you do.
Or make it about him. About all of a sudden, everything's always about him.
Yeah.
Yes, there is something I don't actually like about these people. The level of hypocrisy with these people on the view is alarming. These kind of reactions they're struggling to put out is totally different from what I saw them putting out about Charlie. There were no signs of rumors with these people. Now they are trying to act like, to me, unacceptable. This is the right way. Whoopi here is saying when something like this happens, people need to come together. That is the best way. I agree. But they don't do that. If Trump did not put out this tweet, Libras would not cough.
Do I agree with some of or many of his ideas on how that patriotism should be enacted to celebrate the America that we both love? No. But he doesn't agree with me either, but he also respects my patriotism. We had a different path to the same destination, which was a country we both loved. And when people would say terrible things to me on social media about him, I said, you got it all wrong. And yes, I can see how you can disagree with him, but because you disagree with people doesn't mean that you have to hate people. And what Rob and I could do, Rob and I could sit in a room. I could sit in a room with Sean Penn, by the way. I could sit in a room with a lot of my liberal friends and say, look, I think you're wrong about this, this, and this. And they could say the same to me, and we would find a way to work it out. And that was one of the great things about him. He was a real thinker when you had a chance to talk to him. And a lot of people just don't think anymore. And look, I knew and by the way, we're talking about a tragedy here about Rob and Michele, right? Two extraordinary, lovely people. And you can't forget how important it is, because that marriage, Michele did in Rob's life what Rob did in my life at a time when I needed him. And all I've ever said about Rob Reiner is he's somebody I love, respect, and cherish. And when my friend Carol called me and said, listen, I want you to hear about this before it's on the news, Rob and Michele were murdered, I literally said, Rob and Michele who? She goes, Reiner. And I said, I literally, you know when you can't breathe? I literally said, and I said, was it a home invasion? And she said, we don't know, but it may have been Nick. Oh. And I'm telling you, I just felt the floor. I just felt my heart drop. And I just thought, what Tracy's going to go through, you know, what
did you have any idea?
President Trump should have said nothing. I think when the president says these sorts of things, it detracts from his policy achievements and his agenda.
For the President of the United States to take this family tragedy in which both Reiner and his wife were killed and say that it's because of Trump derangement syndrome, I thought was well beneath him and beneath the office, and I think it would have been better if the president had made no comment.
When people ought to have. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Online, I noticed that there's a lot of, when Charlie Kirk, et cetera, there was a lot of people saying nasty stuff. But that wasn't the president of the United States, and it was not Rob Reiner himself. Watch the tape of Rob Reiner. Yeah.
Absolute horror. And I unfortunately saw the video of it, and it's
It's beyond belief what happened to him, and that should never happen to anybody. I don't care what your political beliefs are. That's not acceptable. That's not a solution to solving problems.
That's called grace.
Right.
That is grace.
Right.
And the guy in the White House, he has none of the ability to lead, to set.
I'm going to make a correction here. As it turns out, yesterday, apparently, you know who put his condolences out to the people who are looking down at us from heaven and the folks at Brown. But this is how he followed it up.
About Rob Reiner.
About Rob Reiner. So, my bad, you did say something. Not what I would like to have heard from you, but you did do it. So, there you go.
Yes, I believe you've seen actor James Wood tears up about this whole thing. I understand that people sometimes disagree when it concerns political issues, no matter the party. This is the time both parties need to reflect about these issues. It happens here, it happens here. When it happens here, these people celebrate and people take notice of everything. If you look at this whole situation, like what people are saying now, they always go back into comparing what happened to Charlie. A lot of conservatives did not celebrate. Yeah, that's the truth, what I've seen. So if you are liberal, lying, saying, oh, conservatives celebrated the D-Days, to me, flat out lies. What I'm concerned about this whole thing is just the fact that a lot of people put a lot of emphasis when Trump says something. Yeah, Joy Bear is saying, oh, because he's the president of the United States, because Trump is the president, he should not voice or should not say anything. Yeah, they expect Trump to bring people together. Yes, that is true. But in this case, what Trump put out, he was just actually expressing himself, what he would have told this man if he was alive. Yeah. Someone like me, let me say the truth. I don't know how to pretend. If I have an issue with you, no matter how people twist it, I will always express myself. I will always tell you the truth. Like, I'm not okay with you. That is just my nature. So when I saw what Trump was putting out, though sensitive, I was speechless. The view reactions, this is the second clip they're doing about this whole thing. Yeah, that I've seen. I understand the sentiment all attached to this. But let's move on. I think this is my last video about this topic. I decided to do these two videos so you can see how liberals react when it concerns their persons. But to me, what happened to this man is strategy. Yeah, very bad. Things like this should not happen. We should not pray for such. Offer him prayers, family prayers. That is the best thing to do at this time. This division is not okay. Yeah, it's not hurting. Though I understand that people that will never stop this, they will continue to do this every single time. Trump. Stop that now.
We've known them for many, many years.
You and your husband were friends with Rob and Michele Reiner, and